Hi, my name is Kiana. I'm an American living in China and also a big-time crafter, so this is my first ever Chinese yarn review. This is also my first ever time making a video in front of a camera, so bear with me, but I really wanted to make this video because when I first moved to China, I had a hard time figuring out where to buy my yarn, where to buy my craft supplies, and so I really could have used a video like this. So hopefully this helps you too, or if you're interested in Chinese yarn, hopefully you learned something about it. I'm also still learning and really open to recommendations because again, I haven't been able to really find videos or content about this. So if you're Chinese, if you're living in China or you know anything about Chinese yarn or shopping for craft supplies here, definitely reach out, let me know, drop advice in the comments. I'm super open to learning more. So when I first moved to China, I started asking around, where do people buy their yarn, where are they buying craft supplies, and pretty much everyone told me to just go on Taobao. And Taobao is basically the Chinese version of Amazon. So I was a little disappointed to hear that for a couple reasons, but also because I really wanted to find some cute local yarn shops in my area. And I've still yet to find those cute local yarn shops. So again, if you live in Shanghai or you've been to Shanghai and you know where the cute local yarn shops are, definitely leave them in the comments or message me because I would love to visit them. So I've been shopping for all my yarn on Taobao because that's just what you do here and that's okay. So I'm going to share a few of my favorite yarns that I've tried and yeah, we'll get into it. So I should mention first that I don't know how to read Chinese characters, so I actually don't know any of the names for these brands of yarns that I'm about to talk about, but I have created an entire blog post where I go in more detail about each of these yarns, and I've also linked all of the yarns on Taobao. So whether you want to just learn the name or shop for the actual yarn, you can head to the link in my bio and all the information will be on that blog post for you. Little side note, I don't know if I even need to mention this because the audience is probably so niche, but I have realized recently that I can find any of the yarns that I was used to buying in the States in China on Taobao. So if you're an expat in China or you're looking for yarn from international companies, you can definitely find it on Taobao. So I have been doing that a lot, but I do think it's really fun to experiment with Chinese yarn and just find local yarn to the country that I'm living in. Okay, so let's talk about the yarn now. This first yarn I'm sharing with you is actually the first yarn that I bought when I moved to China. So I was only here for a week or two and I didn't really know how to use my translate apps very well yet. So I thought I was ordering 100% cotton yarn and it ended up being 100% acrylic, but that's okay. We learn. So I ended up using it to create a blanket and I crocheted the blanket using a moss stitch and I think it turned out really beautifully. I loved the color of this yarn. It was also super soft and had a stretch to it. So even though it was acrylic, I thought it was a pretty good quality acrylic. And if I was looking for another acrylic worsted weight yarn, I would buy it again for sure. I could see this yarn easily unraveling if you were to just like twist it a little bit. I again was crocheting, so I didn't really have any issues with my hook going through the yarn, but I could see maybe there being an issue if you were knitting. But overall, I would buy this yarn again. I crocheted a whole blanket out of it, and usually I'm hesitant to crochet blankets because it's such a big project and it can be so expensive, but this yarn was really cheap, so it didn't feel very intimidating, and now I have a really nice, thick winter blanket to use. It also washes really well, so I threw the whole blanket in the washer multiple times, and I've had no issues with it. It dries really easily. So yeah, if you're looking to crochet a blanket, definitely recommend this acrylic yarn. So after moving to Asia, I definitely wanted to try milk cotton yarn, which is pretty popular here, although I don't think it's very popular in the States, or at least I hadn't really heard of it when I was living there. So milk cotton is not 100% cotton. I think it's a mix of a few different fibers. So there's milk protein fiber, there's also cotton fiber, but I think overall it's considered a synthetic yarn. So just keep that in mind if you're looking for some natural fibers. Milk cotton is probably not the one to go to. It definitely feels more like acrylic than any other sort of yarn, but just a much softer, nicer quality acrylic. I ordered a handful of different brands of this milk cotton yarn because I wanted to try it out, and I was doing kind of a scrappy project, so it didn't really matter if they all didn't match perfectly. But my favorite of the bunch was this milk cotton one, spelled M-I-L-L-K, cotton. So that makes me feel like it's fake or something, but I don't actually know, so let me know if it is. I've seen this yarn before. It seems like a pretty popular milk cotton. It has this cute little cow on it and comes in so many different colors. And the reason this one was my favorite was just, it was so much softer than the rest of the yarns, and it had a really good weight to it. So I feel like it's pretty versatile. The first one I bought was this really pretty blue color, and I feel like it can often be so hard to find yarn in really pretty blue colors, and so I was really impressed with this. Again, color selection is amazing. And so this has kind of been my go-to when looking for a cheap yarn for just kind of more scrappy projects. It's softer and pretty stretchy, so it's not something I would use for a wearable. I use this yarn for more of an art piece, where the texture and it kind of didn't matter what texture or weight it was. But I wouldn't use this for a sweater or anything like that. I would maybe use it for a scarf. I think it would be really soft and cozy. Or a plushie. I think it would also be perfect for that as well. I will say I ordered this yarn in a handful of different colors, and the softness doesn't come through on every single color yarn, so just know that. But overall, I would say it's pretty consistent, and that's kind of why it's been my go-to, just because I know what I'm getting. It comes in so many colors, and yeah, it just makes things easier. I've also seen this yarn on Etsy, so I think you could get it in other countries, possibly. I'm not sure if it'll always be the same, but it's worth looking into because it is pretty cheap. The last yarn I want to share with you is finally a 100% cotton yarn. After many failed attempts, I finally found one, and it really does feel like cotton. It is a little bit thinner than I expected, so again, I was not able to use it for the project that I bought it for, but that's okay. I ended up using it for like another, again, scrappy project. I made this placemat using the purple yarn that I ordered, as well as just another white cotton yarn that I had in my stash, and it worked really well. I guess I would buy this yarn again. I don't have a reason to, but I do think it's a nice yarn, and it's nice to know that it is 100% cotton, just like it says on the ad. So those are 3 yarns that I'm sharing today, but I've tried many more, but I don't think they're worth sharing. If you have any yarn recommendations, yarns that you've wanted to try, yarns that you've heard about, or again, if you're Chinese and you know which yarns I should be buying, do let me know. I would be really interested. That's about it. I hope to do this again sometime. So yeah, let me know what you think. Bye.